Hello everybody, my name is Amanda Lambkin. I am perched up in my nest in one of the cooler places of the house, trying desperately to block the backlighting with my gigantic head. And I am here to talk to you about the #1 publisher pet peeve. Now, I do not speak for all publishers. I cannot speak for all publishers. I do not want to speak for all publishers. The only publisher that I can speak for is this publisher. The one with the slightly radioactive eyes with a reflection in my glasses. I can speak for me, and I can tell you that my #1 pet peeve is what I call the $10,000 move and the 10-cent shot. What is that, you might ask? Well, back in the day I used to play basketball, and sometimes someone would block a shot from the other team, and they would grab the ball right before it went out of bounds, and they would take off on a break down the basketball court. They would find themselves wide open, not a defender in sight. They would go in for a layup, and they would bounce the ball off the bottom of the rim. To which my dad would always say, $10,000 move, 10-cent shot. And unfortunately, that happens just as much in books as it does in basketball, if not more. There are a couple examples that I'd like to talk about right now, and I know people are going to have opinions about this, and that's okay. Share them in your comments down below. The first example I'd like to use is the third book in the Hunger Games trilogy. You see, Suzanne Collins had done a great job throughout the entire series building up characters. Finnick Odair's death just devastated me. She did a great job with world building. We had a good understanding of how Panem worked. She did a great job with plot and bringing it forward and bringing all the characters into it and everybody's different motivations. And I think she did brilliantly right up until the moment that Katniss shot Coin. Now, I include Katniss shooting Coin in the brilliance, but it's everything after that that I take umbrage with. We don't know anything about Gale except that he's a big shot somewhere, and he's on TV a lot. We don't know anything about what happens with Plutarch, except that he's in charge of programming, but where does he fit in this brave new world? Katniss's mom is vaguely off somewhere doing hospital things, but we don't know anything. We don't even know what Peeta went through until he came to join her. And I think she just had everything so well planned out until Katniss shot Coin. And she knew that Peeta and Katniss were going to end up together, but everything else just got yada yada. And to me, that was not a satisfying ending. She did not make the shot. She'd done everything right and everything brilliantly up till that moment. But when the time came to really bring it home, it was like she got bored. She got tired with the series. She just wanted to get it done, and I don't know, that might not have been the case. Miss Collins and I aren't exactly on each other's speed dial, although, you know, if you want to call me, call me. I'd love to chat. But it seems like somehow she just gave up. And the worst example of this, I think, the one that hurt me a lot, was the entire book 7 of Stephen King's Dark Tower series. Spoiler alert, if you have not read this book that came out over a decade ago now, you have to understand that these books are heartbreaking and brilliant and incredible world making. My firstborn son was named Roland, if that tells you anything how I feel about these characters in these books. And they're so good, and they're not just, you know, the 7-book series, but every other Stephen King book touches on this universe. And then in the last book, he brings in a character that is met through ridiculous amounts of metafiction and Deus Ex Machina. And this character, who is only in the book for 100 or so pages, kills the biggest big bad that ever was. Just gone. Kills him. Susanna, who's a gunslinger, just ends up walking away and leaving, which kind of fits better than than the random kid that they meet. And then the way that they meet the random kid is through this character named Dandelo, who seems to exist only as a device to bring us this kid who seems to exist only to kill the big bad, but not even in a satisfying way. So this whole thing is a $10,000 move and a 10-cent shot. Now, I believe, and again, I don't know Stephen King, but Mr. King, you're welcome to call me anytime. I'd love to chat. It feels like, to me, that he felt like this series was bigger than him. And he couldn't bear the thought of doing his best and not doing good enough, so he threw the game. But it drives me bonkers. It drives me absolutely bonkers, because what the reader is going to remember when they put your book down is how they felt at the end of it. Now later they may revisit it and they may decide that the book is overall good or the book is overall wonderful, in spite of the unsatisfying ending. But what they're initially going to do when they sit down to write a review, or when they decide if they're going to read more works, is they're going to go based on what they feel at the end. And so many new authors fall into this same trap. They have everything plotted out to the climax, and then they don't know what they're going to do. And they don't know how to end it. And they don't know how to tie up all the loose ends. So they just kind of hand wave and yada yada and assume that the reader will get it. Well, it's not the reader's job to get it. It's the reader's job to enjoy what you give to them. And I feel that doing this is a sign of an author who is too eager to be done, which, trust me, I understand that more than you can possibly know. Or it is an author who didn't think things through past the climax. They didn't think through the resolution. And didn't have the diligence to then do so when they realized they'd gotten to the end. This is not necessarily an immediate slush pile. If you submit this to me, if I feel like the author will work with me, then I will sometimes accept these books, especially if they have the $10,000 move beforehand. But as a reader and as a publisher, this is what drives me nuts more than anything. So, how do you avoid it? Slow down and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. That's it. Don't be so eager to get to those words at the end that you end it sloppily or end it before it's ready to be ended. You need to see your book all the way through the end. You need to make that shot. And while it's frustrating as all get out, and I know it is, you're going to be so much happier with the results if you do. Thank you for listening. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. I have lots more content coming your way. I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks.